I want to start this video with a statement made by Ravi Chandran, one of the convicts of Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, who, along with 6 others, were released from prison after spending more than 31 years in jail. His statement: the people of North India should see us as victims instead of terrorists or killers. Time and power determine who is a terrorist or a freedom fighter. But time will judge us as innocents, even if we bear the blame for being terrorists. I want to repeat his last sentence. Time and power determine who is a terrorist or a freedom fighter, but time will judge us as innocents, even if we bear the blame for being terrorists. He said it most aptly, and it was Chandrasamy and Subramaniam Swamy who were the masterminds of Rajiv Gandhi assassination. Actually, it was an inside job of the powerful people who controlled the Indian government. Let me repeat, it was an inside job of the powerful people who controlled the Indian government to put the blame on the Neo Ravana so that Ramayana could be reenacted. Indian judiciary was well aware of this fact, and yet these innocent youths were incarcerated in prison for 31 years. It pays to ponder that Indian judiciary is operated by the Brahmins, who were the Jews of India. With this apt introduction, let me start this video. Do you know the origin and the concept of judicial practice observed all over the world today? Do you know the current judicial system is meant to administer injustice rather than justice? Do you know that it originated from the Jews? Do you know the historical Jew from whom the current concept of judiciary was copied from? You would know all about this in this video. The main purpose of this video is to find the origin of the system of judiciary in practice today. The quest can be divided into 2 parts. One part deals with the people who created the system of judiciary, and the other part deals with finding the original model from which the current judicial system was copied from. Now, we shall take up the first part, that is, finding the people who created it. Judah, judiciary, judge. Thus, the root word for judiciary or judge is Judah. If you don't believe my words that judge originated from Judah, I would read from the etymological pages of the word judge. In Jewish history, it refers to the war leader vested with a temporary power, as in Book of Judges, from Latin iudex, being used to translate Hebrew sophe. This sophe originated from the Phoenician word sufe. Su means high in Tamil, and vadi, padi, fadi, fad, fed, fet means residing in Tamil. Hence, sufe means residing high, which means the person seated on a high pedestal, which obviously means a judge. From this etymological page, we understand that the term judge originated from the Jews who were called Judah. To prove that Judah is Jew, I will read what the Wikipedia says. Judah was, according to the book of Genesis, the 4th of the 6 sons of Jacob and Leah, and the founder of the tribe of Judah of the Israelites. By extension, he is indirectly the eponym of the kingdom of Judah, the land of Judea, and the word Jew. I have used this piece of information to prove that the word Jew originated from Judah. However, contrary to the above mentioned passage, the eponym Judah did not originate from the son of Jacob and Leah, and it actually originated from Noah himself. During the deluge, as Noah's ark did not submerge in the turbulent tsunami and it safely settled on the Ararat Mount, Noah called himself Uda, meaning inflated, as inflated bodies do not submerge. Udu, Uda, Yuda is a word of Tamil origin and it means inflated. We know that the Latin word Jude gave rise to Jue and Jew. Thus, it was this Judah that gave rise to Judah. That is how Noah's descendants were called Judah and it deformed to Judah. Hence, from the above, we have established that the words judge and judiciary are of Jewish origin. We have so far established that the word Judah, meaning inflated, deformed to yield Judah and Jew, And it is from this Judah that the words like judiciary and judge originated. We have established this through the etymology of the words connected with the judiciary. Do we have any other evidence to substantiate the same? Yes. We know that the whole world is ruled by the Jews through their secret societies. Judiciary being the main part of the governance, and the whole world is governed by the Jews from behind the screens, it is quite obvious that the Jews should have created the system of judiciary that we are all subjected to today. Having established that the Jews are responsible for the evolution of the current system of judiciary, our next task is to find the historical model from which the current judicial system was copied from. That is the main point that this video deals with. The judicial model includes the dress codes of the associated functionaries of the judiciary, the technical jargons of the judiciary, the symbolism like wearing wig by the judges, and the use of gabble by the judges, and the concept and the presence of Lady of Justice in courts all over the world. From our knowledge of the nature of the Jewish race, we know that if something is created by the Jews, then it shall not function ethically. That is the bottom line. Yes, if you study the verdicts of the courts all over the world, you would come to the invariable conclusion that the courts only appear to deliver the justice while they deny justice by and large. The blindfolded Lady of Justice just symbolizes what I have said about the courts. She is having a balance in her hand, but alas, she can't see where the balance is in balance or out of balance as she is blindfolded. Yes, the courts all over the world are not made to deliver justice, and on the other hand, they are made to deliver injustice. This is symbolically expressed by the Lady of Justice. How can I be so sure about it? Yes, I am coming to that point. Just look at the wig that the judges are wearing. Till recently, it was part of the attire of the officiating judge. What does the wig represent? You are now looking at a clip art where there is a female lion and a male lion. The distinguishing feature of the male lion is its mane. The female doesn't have it. Now, I slowly move the wig of the judge over the female. Wow! The female lion now looks like a male lion. I chose lion and lioness images just to demonstrate that the wig of the judge indirectly suggests that the judge actually represents a male lion. Why should the judge represent a male lion? Do you know that the lion is the symbol of the Jews? You see lion in all the Jewish emblems, including the Royal British emblem and that of the Rothschilds. We know that the British royal family is of Jewish origin. Studying these emblems, you shall realize that lion is a symbol of the Jews. The Jews adopted the African lion as their symbol when they ruled Egypt from the 18th dynasty onwards. Thus, by appearing like a lion wearing the wig, the judge actually represents a Jew. We have already seen that etymologically also the word judge originated from Judah, the Jew. Yes, the judge represents a Jew. But does it represent a specific Jew in all the history of the world? Yes, indeed. The judges of the court do represent a specific historical Jew. That Jew is called Saguni, who was the villain in the epic called Mahabharata. How do I say that it represents him? You know about the 10 avatars of Vishnu in Hinduism. Contrary to the claims of the Brahmins, all these 10 avatars represent the Jewish personalities, each one representing a specific historical Jew. That is how the Jews of India, aka the Brahmins, remember their forefathers and also make the Indians worship them. The first avatar, called Matsya avatar, represents Noah. Matsya means a fish. As Noah's ark sailed through the water and did not perish, it was called fish, that is Matsyam, by the Jews. The second avatar, called Kurma avatar, represents Dhanvantri, who landed in Udupi through the sea after being driven out from Israel during the Kokba revolt of the 2nd century AD. As tortoise knows the migration routes of the sea, Dhanvantri who is said to have followed a turtle, was remembered as a turtle himself. Turtle was called Kurmam by the Brahmins, and hence the Kurma avatar was Dhanvantri. The third avatar, called as Varaha avatar, that is pig avatar, is Chanakya. The word Chanakya was derived as Sani Nakki, Chanakyi, meaning shit liquor, which means pig in Tamil. Tamil being the first language of humanity, it is the key to the world history. Chanakya was called a pig as his mission was to destroy Lankan Tamils by uprooting them. That is, destroying the Lankan Tamils along with the roots. Pigs are known for uprooting by digging in. Thus, the third avatar, called Varaha avatar, is Chanakya. The Jews have encoded this fact in the Lion King movie, where the lion represents Zeus or their stooge Hanuman, while the pig represents Chanakya. That movie dealt with three historical wars, namely Ramayana, Maurya invasion of North India by Chanakya, and the Kalabra invasion of South India by Parasurama. Kindly watch my decode of this movie in this channel. The fourth avatar is called Narasimha avatar. Narasimhan means human lion combo, as Nara means human and Simhan means lion. Who is that Narasimhan? I have published an English video with the title Mahabharat Sagni is the Narasimha avatar. Kindly watch that video. To understand that video, you should be knowing the story of Prahalada and the Mahabharat epic of India. Likewise, rest of the 10 avatars also represented the historical Jewish personalities, and it is beyond the scope of this video to describe them all. These epic wars called Ramayana and Mahabharat are not fictional, and they were real wars. Ramayana happened about 7500 years ago between South India and Lanka, instigated by Rama the Jew. Mahabharata happened about 5100 years ago in South Tamil Nadu between the Kauravas of Cheranadu and the Pandyas of Tamil Nadu, instigated by Saguni the Jew. Both Rama and Saguni came to South India from the Baltic Ocean region known as Khazar. Now that we understand that Narasimha avatar represents Saguni of Mahabharata, which equates Sagni to a lion, and that the judge represents a lion through the wig that he wears, we infer from these facts that the judges of the court actually represent the historical Sagni known as Narasimha avatar. This gives a huge starting point. If the judge himself represents Mahabharat Saguni, it then invariably means that the whole of the judicial concept was copied from the Mahabharata epic. Yes, Mahabharata epic is filled with numerous court scenes, and hence it is obvious that the current judicial model was copied from it. To further prove that Mahabharata was the model of our judiciary, look at the Lady of Justice. She is blindfolded. Now, look at the character called Gandhari of Mahabharata. She is also blindfolded. Could Gandhari of Mahabharata represent the Lady of Justice? Yes, indeed. According to the Sanskrit version of Mahabharata, which was written by the Jewish Brahmins of India during 5th century AD, Gandhari was Saguni's sister and was married to the Kaurava leader called Dhritarashtra. According to the story, as Dhritarashtra was blind and Gandhari being a loyal wife of that blind man, she chose to blindfold herself. But in reality, the Kaurava leader wasn't physically blind. He was blinded by the lust he had on Gandhari, the Khazarian white lady. This fact was encoded by the Brahmins as though he was physically blind. Then, what do the Brahmins convey by blindfolding Gandhari? After marrying Gandhari to Dhritarashtra, Saguni took over the reins of the government of Dhritarashtra and did many unethical things. But Gandhari, who was well aware of the diabolical plans and actions of Saguni, pretended as though she was unaware of the happenings around her. This fact is encoded by blindfolding Gandhari in the story. Moreover, Gandhari was not the sister of Saguni, and on the other hand, she was his wife. Just like Abraham sold his wife Sarah to the Egyptians, telling them that she was his sister, which was repeated by Isaac, the son of Abraham, who sold his wife Rebekah to Abimelech, telling that she was his sister. Saguni did the same 5000 years ago. Why did he sell her? The leader of the South Indian Kauravas, whom the Mahabharata story calls Dhritarashtra, was owning an iron smelting factory. Saguni took amber from the Baltic Sea region, known as Khazar, and sold them in South India, and from the proceeds of the same, he bought iron molds from Dhritarashtra and brought them to Babylonia. He did value addition to the iron molds in Babylonia, making various iron tools, and made a huge profit out of them. But that was not enough for him. The economic potential of amber was much less than that of iron. Hence, he could not buy considerable quantity of iron from the proceeds of amber that he normally owned. Hence, he had to conceive an idea to amass a huge quantity of iron. That idea was to own the smelting factory itself. He had to exchange some valuable commodity for the iron smelting factory. That valuable commodity, as far as Dhritarashtra was concerned, was his white-skinned wife. That was the reason that he married off his white-skinned wife to Dhritarashtra. Out of that marriage deal, in exchange for his wife, he obtained the iron smelting factory from Dhritarashtra. This is history. The iron ore is available free of cost, and the other component of smelting process, the coke, is obtained by burning the tree trunks. Hence, Saguni now got his iron molds almost free of cost. His profit margin was very huge. Thus, by exchanging his wife for the iron smelting factory, Saguni became very rich. Saguni did many ugly things as part of his diabolical plan. He killed the first wife of Dhritarashtra, Kalpana, as she was an impediment to his plans. He killed her by pushing her from the mountain top. As a typical trait of the Jews, Saguni also instigated the Mahabharata war between the Kauravas of Kerala and the Pandyas of Tamil Nadu. Saguni loathed the Pandyas, the then agriculturists of the eastern plains of South India, as they were very rich and technologically very advanced. Saguni also wanted to exterminate the Kaurava race, as it would help assimilating all the wealth of the Western Ghats, including its rich deposits of ores. That was the reason that Saguni instigated the Mahabharata war with the idea of eliminating not just the Pandyas alone, but the Kauravas too. Gandhari, who knew everything, was silent, as she was actually the key part of the diabolical plan to exterminate the natives of South India through the war. This is expressed symbolically by the blindfold of her eyes in the epic Mahabharata. Mahabharata epic is filled with court scenes, but these court scenes were full of trickery and deceit. Thus, the Mahabharata court of Saguni became the role model for the judiciary of the world. While the judge of the court was Saguni, his wife and sister, who chose not to see the injustice that Saguni was perpetrating on the natives of South India, is made to be the lady of justice in our courts in blindfolded form. Yes, she is blind to the injustice that the courts of today perpetrate all over the world. We have so far explained that the judge with the wig represents Saguni the lion, the Narasimha avatar, who was the villain of Mahabharata epic, and the blindfolded lady of justice represents Gandhari, the original wife of Saguni, the villain. Next, we shall consider the gavel that the judges use in our courts. To maintain the silence of the court, the judge could have used a table bell. That is what we would normally expect. However, they are using a gavel to either silence the court or while delivering the justice. This archaic procedure should have a reason. I have said that Saguni exchanged his wife for the iron smelting factory. Thus, Saguni owned an iron smelting factory. To retain this historical fact, the gavel, which represents the hammer used in iron factory is used by the judges in the courts. Thus, do you now understand why the judges are using a gavel rather than a bell? In fact, Krishna, Saguni's rival in Mahabharata, was a cowherder king. Being a cowherder, he is associated with the bells. If the judge used bells in courts, then it would represent Krishna, the enemy of Saguni. To avoid this association, the judges of the court use a gavel, which represented Saguni, rather than a bell, which represented Krishna. We shall now find the origin of the gown used by the judges and the lawyers. It was the typical gowns used by the royal people of the court in Mahabharata times. Black and white are chosen as these colors are specific to the Jews. The only part of the attire that doesn't represent Mahabharata are the barrister bands that the lawyers and the judges wear. It is made of two rectangular pieces of cloth. These two rectangular pieces of cloth represent the two tablets of Jewish law that Moses was said to have obtained from his God. So, the world is judged according to the laws of the Moses. We shall now trace the origin of some of the most important technical words of judiciary. Court. Saguni and the Kauravas of Mahabharata lived on the Western Ghats mountain range. Hence, that was where the royal court was situated. Any mountain range is called Kodu in Tamil. It was from this word Kodu that the word court originated. Kodu, Kordu, Kortu, court. The etymology page of the court also says that it is king's court and princely residence, which is the royal court of Dhritarashtra where Saguni reigned. Law. It was Saguni who reigned in the royal court of Dhritarashtra. Hence, whatever his tongue spoke became law. Hence, the word for law originated from the tongue of Saguni. The Tamil word for tongue is Naku or simply Na. The Na sound would deform to La sound and vice versa. Hence, Na became La and it was spelled La to coin a new word. Hence, the word La originated from the tongue of Saguni. This is substantiated by this etymological page which says ordinance, rule prescribed by authority for the word law. Here, that authority was Saguni and the word law originated from his tongue called Na. Bar and barrister. According to the etymology page, bar means whole body of lawyers of the legal profession. The court of Dhritarashtra being situated on the mountain range, the whole body of lawyers were also on the mountain range. I said earlier that the mountain range is called Kodu and it was from that word the word for court originated. Any mountain range has yet another general name in Tamil called Var. Hence, that body of lawyers was called Var by the name of a mountain range which deformed to yield Bar. It goes the same with a barrister too. There is also another twist to this word game. The biggest ancient war of the world was Mahabharata, where Maha means very big. It was the above mentioned mountain range that Saguni lived in which was responsible for that huge war. Hence, the English word for war also originated from Var meaning mountain range. This W proves that Bar originated from Var, the mountain range that Saguni lived in. Penal code. The word code originated from Kodu meaning mountain range and it represents the code of law here. What is penal? Penal is an adjective which means connected with punishment by law. But what is the etymology of penal? I am displaying the etymology page and you shall read it by pausing the video. You would see that this etymology page has no clue to the correct origin of the word penal. Hence, I thought that the word venal might have deformed to penal as va sound would normally deform to pa sound. Venal, penal. But believe me, I never knew that a word venal ever existed in English language, as the word penal doesn't have a proper etymological root, I thought that it might have deformed from the word venal if this word existed. It was a mere guess. I then searched by typing etymology of venal. I was pleasantly surprised when I knew that such a word really existed, and when I read the meaning of the word, I was really shocked, shell shocked. The word venal had a sinister meaning. Venal means capable of being obtained for a price that can be corrupted. Aren't you surprised? When the judge is modeled from Saguni the villain, it is no wonder that penal code having such a sinister meaning. Moreover, venal is related to venom as per this page. Venom is poison. Both venal and venom have roots in Tamil which means undesirable. Hence, penal code means poison code or the law that can be purchased or the law that can be corrupted. We know that wealthy people all around the globe escape justice, and that is the unwritten essence of judiciary. Hence, the penal codes were written in such a way that justice shall be bought for a price or favor. This is the essence of global judiciary. The matters discussed above prove that all the judicial jargons and the model of judiciary were copied from the Mahabharata epic. Saguni, the villain, represents judge, and his blindfolded wife, Gandhari, represents the lady of justice. Hence, judiciary is a joke played on the Gentiles. No doubt that these 7 Gentiles spent 31 years in prison.